Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Tuesday, September the 26th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses in order to have a plan in place. We do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we can only have a plan in place, multiple plans in place, and then execute the plan once the market shows its hand. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com, or give me a call, or send me a Skype message. Follow me on my YouTube channel, Quantum Leap Futures. There's over 650 days of these pre-market sessions that we do each morning for the market. And you're already following me on Twitter at Crazy2. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results in any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So let's just get the news out of the way real quick. The big one today is Yellen's going to be speaking at, I believe it's 12:45. She is speaking at the Economic National Association for Business Economics annual meeting, and she's going to be talking inflation, uncertainty, and monetary policy. And there is questions to be expected from the audience. So that 12:45 time frame for about an hour after that could get a little bit volatile depending on what she says. But other than that, we've got 9 o'clock S&P CS Composite 20-year HPI year over year. And then 10 o'clock, we've got CV Consumer Confidence, New Home Sales, and Richmond Manufacturing. So a fair amount of news today. Just keep that in mind as we move forward. Take a look at yesterday. Yesterday, our Hypo 1 and Hypo 2 were equalized, meaning that we had a 50% probability one or the other, really equal weighted. Hypo 1 was a rotation down, finding buyers down in the 91 to 92 or 94 area, and then rotate up. I was not expecting it to go as low as it did. That was actually Hypo 3 that put us down into the 85 area. But then they did find the buyers, and they did rotate back up, and they came up, and we said we were looking for them to close around the 94 area, and they actually closed a little bit higher at the 97.50 area. Again, as of yesterday, I want to point this out. Beautiful trade of the day, FUBAR Mr. Sneaky Tech Gap. If you're not familiar with that strange little trade name, it's one of my signature trades, very high probable, has a positive expectancy. There's a YouTube video on my channel about the trade, and you can find out if there's anything you take away from here. This setup will make you money. It works in multiple markets, multiple instruments. Just have to find the right time frame. Best one in the ES is the 5-minute. Gold, I use 15-minute. So we basically had, we were looking for a rotational day, and we basically got a very rotational day. It was actually trend looking. This was the news that about Trump and North Korea making a statement that Trump had declared war, and they were going to shoot down any warplanes or whatever. The buy the dip crowd came in again. I was saying a great buying opportunity would be in the 2480 area. I was talking about that on Friday, Thursday or Friday of last week, and I thought would be a really good. We were talking yesterday about the over-under and that 91 level, and 91 was our key line in the sand. And so if we got below 91, we'd look for them to test the CLVN at 87 and possibly even dip down into the 85. So just a good look at, we basically only 3-tick the over-under line, And then once we broke the key line in the sand, we did go hit those targets below. But then the buyers did step in and rotate us up. So let's take a look at the macro to micro. I always start my day with a simple candlestick chart and the 9 EMA and a 20 SMA. I'm following some geometric patterns here, so I've got some stuff on my chart. This is the longer term pitchfork that we're following. We're in the upper channel right now. We don't even get to the upper line of the fork until we get all the way up into 2650. Do I think that's going to happen? Who knows? But right now we're in this upward channel. This fork has been pretty good. The monthly is got good slope and separation on the 9 and the 20, showing us the strength of the trend. Moving down to the weekly, you can see that we're in this upward channel, and the bottom of the channel, we were talking about that move yesterday, 91 on the daily, is down 24.51 and a quarter now. Upper channel is up at 25.64.34. I still think that 25.07 and a quarter is a weak high and likely to get tested to the downside. But the trend on the weekly, we've got good slope, good separation. The weekly came down and tested the 20 SMA. We talked about the possibility of closing the technical gap on the inside Mr. Sneaky week. We talked about that on this Monday right here. The trend is very much intact on the weekly. On the daily, we were talking about this bull flag that's setting up. We can see that we've challenged the trend. We broke below the 9 on the daily, but we have not closed below it. So we're still holding. You can see we're losing some slope and separation. We've got this downward flag, but I think this is going to be a bull flag. The key is for us to hold the 20 SMA, and that's now down at the 25.8375. I'm actually watching the 25.82 area, and I'll show you why in just a couple minutes. But again, the trend is still intact on the daily, although it is being challenged but not violated. Going to the intraday, you can see that we started to get this downward trend. We were talking about it yesterday, that the intraday's trends were to the downside. That's continued in the Globex, but now they're coming up and challenging the trend and getting possibility of a close above the 9 and the 20 for a possible trend change and a possible breakout of this downward pennant. Going to the 1 hour, you can see that we have broken above. We're starting to get upward slope and separation, so a change of trend is in the possibility. As we move down to the 30-minute, you can see that's the same thing. We've got this consolidation area from the Globex. I don't think this is a valid cup and handle. Let me just, I want to quickly take a look at this to see if it is valid. It's been invalidated with the break below the 65%, so that's not a valid cup and handle. But you can see that the trend is changing. Going to the 15-minute, you've got acceleration on the trend, and then on the 5-minute, you can see that we've gone up. We've created a technical gap here. We've got a double top up at the 98 area. Is 98 and a quarter. That's the Globex high so far, and we've just gone up and tested it and put a double top, a weak local high here at the 98 and a quarter, and looking for that to get challenged and broken. So when we move to the bigger picture, you can see I've got this micro composite that starts from the gap day after the other gap day, and for the first 4 days we created this this value at 93.75. Then we broke out of that value we came up and we put in the new all-time high, and then we tried to hold value up at 25.0475. We were not able to, and what did we do? We came down to the 93.75, found those late buyers, rotated back up, came up to where we were trying to hold value, couldn't hold value. What do? We come down. What happens the second time that we come down? Usually the late buyers have already been picked up, and you have to go lower, and auction lower down to those naked VPOCs and naked close and fill the gap down at the 85. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about this.
Doug, you're talking about, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Marvin. So I was just explaining the fact that we talk about this all the time, the basic auction logic of, breaking out a value, accepting price higher, then making the continuation move, and then trying to hold value. Can't hold value. Where did they go? They come down and pick up the late buyers, rotate it back up to where they were trying to hold value. Sellers step back in, and this time they come right through there. We do not expect it to hold the second time, and we go through and we come all the way down into that naked VPOC and naked close at the 85.50. So the 2-day value right now is accepting higher above the 93.75 at 97. That's the most traded price, although they are accepting price higher. My anticipation is that we are going to get a continuation. The key levels to keep an eye on is the 24.99 and a quarter. That's going to remain our over-under line for today. If we break out of that, and we get back inside of that, I should say, we're back in this upper value, and I'd be looking to test the value area high of the longer time frame micro composite up here at the 25.0175, and then possibly get continuation up into the 25.0475 and new all-time highs. Failure to get above that 99 and a quarter, we're likely to come back to the 97. If the 97 doesn't hold, look for them to come back down through to the 93.75. Key line in the sand is going to be down here at 24.87 and a quarter. So if we take a look at the overnight volume, we opened auction and then we went up and we hit that 98 and a quarter. They sold it off in Asia. They came down in the 92.75. I'm watching the 92s, and then they rotated up into that 97 area, that new CHVN, the 2-day most accepted price point, and then they rotate back, and we basically chopped around in the 94 area and 97, and now they're making a new run for the Globex high, and we're putting in a week high at the 98 and a quarter. So inventory is about 80% net short. So they could get a short squeeze in the RTH for these shorts that are in the hole right now if we break above that 98 and a quarter. So let's start moving our numbers over and our levels. All right, so we've been doing a lot of this lately. We're likely going to put in a new Globex high. There it is. As we move towards the, we should have just got our news, right? So Redbook came out at 4.0, and S&P CS HPI Composite 0.3. The HPI Composite 20 NSA 5.8, and month-over-month July 0.7. So not bad news. So our overnight low is down at 92.75, just a couple ticks above that naked VPOC. Our Globex high is likely to even go a little bit higher, but right now it's 98.50, and I'll put it in, but we'll probably have to adjust it. And then our overnight VPOC is not likely to shift, and it's down at 94.75. Very boxy looking profile in this area right here. We were talking about that in the live trade room. Our daily ATR full session average true range 20 period is running at 1350. So off of the overnight low of 2492.75, our upside daily ATR target is at 2506 and a quarter. And off of the current overnight high, which keeps moving up, it is at 2498.75. Our downside daily ATR is 2485 and a quarter. So we have range capabilities to 85 and up to 06 and a quarter without getting expanded outside of the 20 period. In terms of levels from overnight, there's not really much to guide us other than the VPOC and the low and the high. We now have 99, so this gets moved up one tick. This gets moved up one tick. The levels I'll be watching, obviously today is going to be the 95.75 value area for a move into the overnight VPOC, microcomposite VPOC, and the overnight low, and this 90. So I'll be really looking to short this on any break of the 95s. There is a little LVN right here at the 98, but I'm paying attention to that 99 and a quarter. That's going to be my over-under line. What does that mean? Meaning that I'm generally looking short below it and long above it. Just it's a way to gauge a shifting of my bias. I don't try to come in with any particular bias, but I do have levels that I'll pay attention to. If we break above or below, and I'll be changing what hypo I think that we're in. And then below us, there's not a lot from the overnight, but we do have the 2-day at 97. That's going to be a target. Just below the close of 97.50. Value area low at 91.50. Be a trade area. Trade areas are targets, but they're also entry areas. And then below that, we've got the 87 and a quarter. That's going to be our key line in the sand. I know I'm doing this live, so it takes time. And then below that, we've already come down to those naked VPOCs and naked crosses. Naked closes. So the next destination I'll be looking at is the 83.25. And then we still have the 50% of the significant breakout candle, which is down at the 80.50, and it gets pretty blunt down here. So what are my hypotheses for the day? Well, as I said, we've got a lot of shorts that are going to be in the hole. I'm looking for a rotational day again, but I'm looking for the possibility of coming down and getting stuck in this wick down here, this unauctioned territory. So my hypo 1 and hypo 2 are going to be equally weighted again today, but my main hypothesis is an open auction, a move up, either a false breakout of the 2500 or a push up into the 2501.25, finding responsive sellers, rotating us down into value, and then chopping around in this 93.75, taking out the overnight low and the naked VPOC down here, and basically chopping around here with the late day, possibly a late day probe to test that 87 area, rotate up and close around that 93.75 again. But basically spending most of the day down here, stuck in this wick, as we talked about on this day right here, getting stuck in this wick. Hypo 2 is a open auction, failure to take out the 2501.25, rotate down first, okay, into the 91 area, finding responsive or initiative buyers, and then rotating us up into the 2501, 2500, chopping around here and pushing up into that 0475 area again, and possibly coming up to close this gap and the naked VPOC up at 2500 and 2505.75, then settling and closing somewhere in around the 2504 area. That is hypo 2. Hypo 3 is going to be an open drive, especially if we get above the 2500 before the RTH open. But an open drive or an open test drive, initiative buyers take control early, rotate us up into the 2501, 2502 area, go sideways. We do have to mark that 2501.75 as a possible resistance spot. And then above that, we've got those targets at 0475. And then the ones at the 05s, and then the value area high is 0575. So any break above the daily ATR, and we're looking for that push up into the inverted head and shoulder target and the rule of 10. We've been talking about this inverted head and shoulder that set up a couple weeks ago on the 4 hour, and we have not looked back. We've broken above the neckline, and it is still remaining valid. So that's hypo 3, and then hypo 4 is a open auction and failure. Come down into the 91, chop here, come down, test the 87 and fail, and push through and come down this time down into the 80-50 area, chop around here and create the base and start working our way back and possibly coming up and closing back in the 85 to 87 area. So those are my main hypotheses for ES. Gold did exactly what we anticipated it to do yesterday. It's too bad that I ended up having those issues that I didn't get to trade for most of the day, because I was looking for this yesterday. Yesterday with gold, we said look for gold to base and hold if they hold the 91.40s, look for them to rotate back up to test the 1300 and targeting that 1312 area. And that's exactly what it has done. We've got our basing pattern. We need now for this to hold the 98 level. And if we can hold the 98 level, we're looking for that continuation. The next big target above is up at the 1327.70. If we do not hold the 97 area, then I'm looking for that weakness to show, and this could be a three-wave corrective pattern and a push down into the 78 to 75.50. The 75.50 is still going to act as a magnet as we get closer to it. Is the most traded price in gold, going all the way back to October 2008. But right now, we got a counter rotation. The range overnight is what do we have? 17 and 1, so about $16 rotation down. We're holding outside of the current microcomposite value area high, and hopefully we stay in price discovery and continue back up into that 1312 area base here, and then get our next leg up. So that's what I'm looking at in gold. That's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side. I'm going to go ahead and close the room down and open up the new room for the members. If you're interested in checking us out, if you're a guest, send me an email at my quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. Have a good day, everyone.